Hello, New Orleans. You're listening to the Sports Coma, your new #1 podcast on everything Saints, Pelicans, and a lot more. And now, here's your host, Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? Welcome tonight. Y'all listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Interesting, entertaining, intense sports talk on the Saints, the Pels, and a heck of a lot more. And tonight we're going to be covering a lot of our college ball. LSU, they got it done against Jacksonville State. The Gamecocks, they got it done, beating them 34-13. And coming back off of that ridiculous loss to Wisconsin, which resulted in them dropping 16 slots in the AP ranking poll. That was kind of hideous. Also, LSU got it done today in a major way, 7 rushing touchdowns against Southern. Tulane got it done against Southern, rushing 7 touchdowns, big game for them. Before we get into that, we got one of the guys in the house, DC's in the studio with us tonight. How you doing, DC?
Yeah, I'm feeling real dapper tonight. Yeah, I'm lovely, man. Feeling real dapper.
Real dapper. That's old school. That's old school word, bro.
Well, I got an old soul. You know?
Well, we're gonna get into those situations. We're gonna talk about those games. We're gonna go into a little prep school tonight too, as well, and preview the NFL, and even have a little Pelican talk a little later on. But before we get into that, we're gonna talk about our sponsor. Y'all all know it very well. The Posh Lifestyle. You can go to www.theposhlifestyle. Check them out. They got the #1 providers of top graded water filters. And like I said in previous broadcasts, it is imperative that you filter your water for cooking purposes, bathing purposes, what have you. They have water purifiers that do just that. You can set up in your kitchen that purifies, so you can cook with it, wash your dishes with it, what have you. Also, they have stuff for the bathroom, for your tubs, and for your shower as well. They come with the bath wines also, so check them out. Also, healing crystals, crystals, period jewelry. And when I mean healing crystals, for a lot of people, y'all probably see a lot of these Hollywood guys, people that usually wear these little bracelets with rubies and little crystals on them. And a lot of that ties to keeping and warding away things. Some of them even bring good fortune to you as well. So I know a lot of you can use a little good fortune. They also provide that, clothing, books, DVDs, and a heck of a lot more. Please check them out at www.theposhlifestyle.com. That's Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with Lyfe. Just Google it, Posh Lifestyle. You'll find them. Also, if you enjoy our podcast, we're ever growing. We're ever growing and getting larger and bigger, and we're committed to becoming a top podcast in the land, all of the land. And we also we well listened to a lot of people across the globe. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're trying to get a bigger and better platform. So if you believe in what we're doing and you'd like to support us, feel free to contact us via theposhlifestyle.com. There's a donation banner there. You can go there and donate to us. Or you can go to our SoundCloud page. There's a link there in the SoundCloud page among the information that'll take you right there. And you can donate $1 or anything that you like, what's in your heart to give. So feel free to donate to us. Believe me, we'll put that money to good use. Going into our program today, like I said, our top story is that LSU victory over Jacksonville State, the Gamecocks. And they were able to get it done 34-13. Of course, Brandon Harris, the biggest story of the day is Brandon Harris getting benched. He got benched after 3 series, was benched in favor of Danny Antling, who came in and finished the game. Antling finished the game, what was it? 6 of 14 for 100 yards. He had a touchdown in the pick and 1 touchdown. He also ran by 1 touchdown. He threw 1, he ran, he had an interception. Wasn't magnificent numbers, but he did enough to get that offense finally twisting and turning what Brandon Harris has been failing along there. So I'm pretty sure they'll go with him going into the next contest. But interesting game behind it. Looking at Darius Geis, he had 19 carries, he had 155 yards and 1 touchdown. He put on Leonard Fournette type game. I know
Shout out to
Fournette, Geis really handled it, man. Leonard
The man
Fournette,
tonight.
was smiling all the way to the bank. Them Leonard Fournette type numbers. Geis carried it pretty well. 34-13 win. DC, you seen the game, man.
Yeah.
What points you want to expound on in the game? Anything in particular caught your eye, good or bad? What you think?
Well, I like the attitude, man, and the fire that they came out and played on. I think they could have probably hung a few more points on JSU, but we know our team been a little turbulent as of last week, and I think they came out really with a mindset and a focus to try to take charge and turn the tables. And I really feel like this was that confidence builder, so to speak, game. I mean, that's what these games usually are. And they really needed it, man, and they came out and performed, to the best of their abilities. But they definitely need to improve more. The defense played lights out. But I think, come on, guys, y'all got to stay concentrated, man. Y'all make too many mental mistakes. We get these big plays where you see they locking them down, and they just, I don't know, I guess they get bored a little bit.
Lack of confidence.
Yeah,
concentration.
They was probably a little shocked with the help they got from the offense today, man. The offense was stellar in the first half. I wish they could have kind of kept that up in the second half, so they're going to have to work them kinks out to get more consistent. But overall, I really like what I saw from the whole LSU team today, man.
Well, looking at the numbers dealing with Brandon Harris, like I said, he was benched after 3 drops, 1 of 4 for 8 yards. And he ripped them out the game. Atlin finished 6 of 14, 100 yards. 1 throwing, 1 running, and also he had a pick in the game. They quarterback for Jacksonville State, the Gamecocks, Eli Jenkins, 17 of 35, had 248 yards. Touchdown and the pick, averaged about 7 yards a throw. Not bad for those guys. He actually looked pretty decent.
That little brother was playing his heart out, man.
Right, he actually looked pretty decent. Like I said, Darius Geis had it, 19 carries, 155 yards. He averaged 8.2 on the carry, had 1 touchdown, a long run of 44 yards. So he really kind of turned it up. And their top back was Crenwick Sanders. No, that's their little wide receiver. Yeah, he had a big catch for 76 yards, a deep bomb on him. But outside of that, nothing to really report on Jacksonville State. They just got hung. LSU was really supposed to beat them a lot bigger than that, 34-13 to a team like that. I expect you to
spank them. They took their foot off the gas a little bit at the halftime, man. Shout out to Tre'Davious White, man. He balled out again as usual to build on his little campaign of late. Kind of white hot. Had a nice punt return tonight, man, and he played real good defense as usual.
Yeah, I think a lot of what happened with LSU, they had that great punt return. I mean that was that kick return right there was excellent. They drove him back about 20 yards. He was able to find a hole there, and he was able to end up taking it to the house. That was a real excellent and energizing run by LSU. I got to give them credit for that, man. They really did. They did what they were supposed to do. They just handled business like they're supposed to do. Outside of that, let me ask you this. They had changes during the pregame. Kirk Herbstreit reported that before the game that Les Miles and LSU Tigers wasn't feeling confident in Brandon Harris before the game. That's what he reported on College Game Day. And, it's almost like fulfilling prophecy because Brandon Harris goes out, stinks it up within 3 drives. He's out, Atlin's in. And what do you think about that,
Well, I don't know. Maybe Kirby was a fly on the wall in that locker room, man.
Yeah, somebody in there telling them something.
But, Brandon Harris has the pressure on him, and I don't know if that guy watches Kirk Herbstreit. Maybe he does. Maybe he's a watcher of that show, the pregame. I don't know.
I don't know. I'll be watching anybody talking like that about me.
But I don't know. Just to hear stuff like that in the rumors, man, I feel like Brandon Harris, he already had a lot of pressure on him coming into this league because not this league, but this season.
The season, yes.
Because last year, the knock on LSU was if they only had a quarterback or if they could only have a passing game, they probably could have made it to the championship. So I think he came out and maybe put a little too much pressure on himself, man, and he's not living up to his expectations. So.
Well, you look at it, and it is a lot of pressure. We was thinking about him climbing the rankings a bit, being that he's been in the system as long as he has, and we thinking that he should have been a guy that should have been a lot further along. But now here we go with another quarterback change, and that could affect basically your season because with Brandon Harris and his prior experience, you would think that we could take that against some of the tougher teams in the SEC, in particular Alabama, and we would think that we got an established quarterback. Now we got basically a young quarterback in there with limited snaps, which means that your offensive playbook going to be quite run-based, limited. So, I mean, let me ask you this. Does that take away from their championship aspirations that Danny Atlin is now your starting quarterback as opposed to Brandon Harris?
Well, I can't necessarily say that takes away from the championship pedigree because if you recall, like the championships that LSU won, other than Jamarcus Russell, but we can say that in the Les Miles era, they never had a stellar quarterback and won a championship. We've always had game managers when we won the championship, and you get behind the running game and the lights out defense and special teams. They excel in all those other phases, but for whatever reason, the quarterback situation under Les Miles has always been an issue. So I can't really beat up the little brother Brandon Harris because everybody that came before him basically did the same thing. You had the one anomaly in Zach Mettenberger, and he happened to play with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham, who are two the top receivers in the league right now in the NFL.
Two first rounders, no doubt about it.
They really,
not to mention Jeremy Hill.
Yeah, then they had Jeremy Hill. Did they really coach him up, or was he just a product of supreme talent around him?
Right. That's an interesting angle. A lot of people probably say it does kind of diminish the championship hopes. Hopefully he can get it together when Alabama comes, but they're going to send everything in the kitchen sink at him. So he better get ready.
I think it fall right into their hands for us, the championship hopes, man. LSU has always been, under Les Miles, a tough, kind of put your hands in the dirt type team, man. And with a rookie quarterback, he's not a rookie, he transferred from Purdue, but just with an inexperienced quarterback, I'll say that, you're going to have to rely more on your defense and your running game. So, and that's already what they've been doing. So, he just has to be a guy to make the right throws and not make a lot of mistakes. And from what he did tonight, I think he's more than capable of doing that.
Now we're looking at total yards on what LSU and Jacksonville State did. It's 371 to 368. So, I mean, yardage-wise, it was pretty close. Didn't look to me, I thought LSU had been able to handle Jacksonville State a lot better than with 34-13. We expecting a beat down in the 50s, which probably would have gave them a little jump in the stats. But 34-13, they're 21 ranked. Maybe that climbs a couple of spots, not too far. Time possession 33-09 to 26-51. LSU had 2 turnovers versus theirs, but also first downs 18-17. So a lot of things close in that game. Like I said, it was kind of small, kind of slowish in the beginning, but they were able to pick it up with the win 34-13. Switching gears, looking at what Tulane did, they were able to get things done against Southern, man, and wow. I'm looking at it.
Tulane's score should have been LSU's score, right?
Willie Fritz is the new coach out there, guy that's been in previous programs, a winning coach, and I think Tulane had a pretty good hire with this man. And he's a guy that comes in with a defensive mindset, and he likes running the ball. And it showed today. He had 7 rushing touchdowns against Southern Jaguars as they beat Southern Jaguars 66-21. Like I said, 7 rushing touchdowns today. Dontrell Hilliard, 10 carries for 103 yards. He had 3 of those 7 rushing touchdowns as Tulane got it done over there at Yeoman Stadium in New Orleans. Real big win not a real big win. They knocked off Southern. They was expected to win. So hopefully they get some momentum rolling their head down in the next. So that's something for Tulane. Going into the break, we'll come back. We'll talk more about. We'll cover the college scoreboard, give you the scores and stats of what happened in college today. Also, we'll cover and talk about some Saints news, and toward the end, we'll have a little Pelican news. We'll talk about who they signed today and what it means to it mean any trouble to any other body. So you're listening to the Sports Coma, Big Q and the guys. We'll be back.
When winter is gone, so spring on over to We've Got It, your low-price, high-class leader. That's right, come in now and take advantage of our everyday bundle deals on any 3 bundles. 12 to 16 inches, $130. 18 to 22 inches, $155. And 24 to 30 inches, $185. We've Got It. 495 Voters Road in Slidell. 985-445-1400. That's 985-445-1400.
I'm the flyest in the world. I'm the flyest in the world. I'm the flyest in the world. Who you know that's better than me? Nope.
Be the playmaker. Not NFL 16. Game not yet rated.
Hey, I'm Paul, and I used to ask if you could hear me now with Verizon. Not anymore. I'm with Sprint now, because guess what? It's 2016 and every network is great. In fact, Sprint's reliability is now within 1% of Verizon. And Sprint saves you 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile rates. So I switched to Sprint, and millions more have too. Can you hear that?
Don't let a 1% difference cost you twice as much. Switch to Sprint today.
What up, America? This Big Q from the Sports Coma, letting you know that you can follow us and the guys on Facebook, All Saints and Pelican fans, also on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, the Sports Coma. You can also download our podcast at podbean.com. So check us out for all the intense and entertainment talk on the Saints, the Pels, and a hell of a lot more. Only at the Sports Coma, you heard me?
Get ready, New Orleans. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
I ain't gonna say no more.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma. Coming in, going into our second segment. Talking about that college football week number 2. Recapping LSU, they got it done against Jacksonville State 34-13. Tulane Green Wave over the Southern Jaguars of Baton Rouge 66-21 behind 7 rushing touchdowns on the game on the scoreboard today. In the top 25 teams, Alabama got it done today against Western Kentucky. That's no surprise. 38-10, they got it done there. Jalen Hurts, the top quarterback, he was 23 of 36, he had 2 touchdowns on 287 yards of passing. He got it done today for Alabama. 38-10. Clemson in a tight one with Troy, 30-34. At number 2, Clemson climbs. They continue to stay where they are. Pretty milquetoast schedule so far. Florida State blasted Charleston of South Carolina, whooped them 52-8. Big win there by them, and we expected that much. Ohio State got it done against Tulsa, 48-3. That game was over by the third quarter. That was not even close. Wasn't even a battle. Michigan beat up on Central Florida, 51-14. Although I thought the Knights would probably give them a little bit. I thought they'll play a little tougher than what they played, but not even close. 51-14. Houston, they goose-egged the Lamar Club, 42-0. Washington over Idaho, 59-14. Georgia in a close battle with Nichols, a local Nichols, 26-24. They kept it close, and for a while, a lot of people thought Nichols was going to pull it off, and then they just couldn't get it done. That would have been a big upset for Nichols if they could have got that done in Athens against the Bulldogs, because the Dogs are ranked number 9th in the country. Real close game for Nichols, man. Real close. Wisconsin, who beat LSU, they handed up on Akron, 54-10. Texas, 11 ranked, big win over UTEP, 41-7. Oklahoma got it done in reverse fashion. They would have beat up on Louisiana Monroe 59-17. Arkansas in a close one. They 2-0. They get it done against TCU and beat the number 15 ranked Horned Frogs 41-38. Arkansas, I said in the previous broadcast, Arkansas is a team that's not ranked, but Arkansas is a team that it's a tough team. They always get up to play LSU, and they looking like they're trying to build something here. Iowa knocks off Iowa State 42-3. Virginia Tech. Now this was a big one because this was played in Bristol in what was in the raceway, and they had a racing stadium set up where you race cars and set up to play football in it. And they had raised one of the biggest crowds to ever watch a football game. And Tennessee was able to beat Virginia Tech 45-24 in that game. So,
and at the NASCAR playoffs.
Yes, big stadium. It might give people ideas looking in the future. Notre Dame got it done against Nevada 39-10. Ole Miss ranked number 19 over Wolf for 38-13. Texas A&M 67-0 to Prairieville. You know that's what they're supposed to do. Knock them off. Of course, you know about our Tigers 34-13 as they sit at 21. 22 was Oklahoma State losing to Central Michigan 30-27.
They won't be ranked next week.
Baylor 40-13 over SMU. And then Miami got it done against Florida Atlantic 38-10. And that's the top 25. And then, of course, remember Friday's contest with Louisville knocking off Syracuse hugely behind that spectacular quarterback, Lamar Jackson, 20 of 39, 411 yards, one passing touchdown. Lamar also ran 21 times for 199 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is a quarterback.
He may be the first person that I've ever seen to throw his own touchdown and catch it too.
Big game.
That is amazing.
That guy, we definitely got to keep an eye out on that guy because he obviously is a guy that more than likely is going to be in that Heisman race. He can continue to keep stuff up like that going, man. I'm gonna tell you what. But
Heisman race, man. I mean,
well, we got Leonard Fournette in there. We talking about Leonard Fournette, but we got a few sleepers. If this guy can keep this kind of play up,
matter of fact, name me somebody who you know who's done that. Like, I watched Michael Vick. I've seen him do some amazing stuff.
That's about the only name I can give you right now.
That's pretty much the only person.
I mean,
didn't
Steve McNair get the Heisman?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, but besides a guy, I
don't think he put up numbers like that though.
He was awesome at Alcorn State.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was awesome.
I mean, this guy was 200 yards rushing, 411
stars
yards.
Icons made of. Football guards was made of the stuff he was doing in college, man. Yeah. I mean, he was awesome, man. He carried it over to the pros. It's just too bad what happened to him toward the end of his career. When he was even doing what he did with the Titans or with the Oilers at the time they became Titans, they were able to go to do it with Baltimore. Was actually pretty accident. He shared that the first time that they co-shared those MVP trophies between him and Peyton.
Manning,
and I think Peyton won it the year before. Actually, that should have been McNair's trophy. A lot of people agree with me on that. Should have been a co-MVP trophy. It's no such thing. You can't split the freaking trophy down the middle. That should have been McNair's honor. But anyway, that's some of the scores right now that we got for you as far as college is concerned. Switching gears, we're going to talk a little bit about what the Pelicans are doing. We got a little Pelican talk for y'all. I mean, you got listening maybe 3 or 4 weeks before, maybe a couple of weeks or so before, maybe 3 or 4 weeks?
About 4 weeks.
About a month before we get to really talking about it. And I really think that'd be the best time of the year when you got when you got pro ball, pro football, then you got basketball coming in, then you got college that starts right on the tail end of that. So this is like sports fanatics' best time of the year because you got everything going, even getting into the meat and potatoes of baseball.
When you got the pennant,
right?
You just keep going,
keep on going all the way up to March.
And then you got June with the finals.
Right. Then you take a little break.
And everything's over after that.
And then you get to the NFL draft, and you get a chance to take a break. But talking about the Pelicans, they continue to build, and we can admit when we can punish you and talk about you when we feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to do. But we also got to give credit when we feel like you're doing the right things, or when you're really taking good strides to improve your team. And I said it about the Pelicans, DC, because we're looking at what they did. They were able to sign somebody, Lance Stevenson. Now, a lot of you guys probably remember Lance Stevenson is from his hijinks.
Blowing the kisses.
Right, blowing kisses and blowing in LeBron's ear during the playoffs to frustrate him. Ultimately, it didn't work. Because LeBron, it just teed him off, and he was ahead to push right past him.
That's one guy
But
you don't want to make mad.
No, you don't want to give in. Light a fire under that freight train. You just leave him, let him sleep. They were able to get Lance Stevenson. Now, he bounced around for a little bit, for a lot, to be quite honest with you, dealing with Lance Stevenson. But he's a big guy, about 6'6", 2 bills and some change. He comes in. Do we think that Lance Stevenson, they give him a 1-year deal? How would Lance Stevenson? Now, we know he's an excellent ball handler. He can handle the ball for a big guard. He can play defense. But the problem hasn't been Lance's talent, his abilities, his talents. His problem, a lot of people say, is his attitude. What say you, DC? How can Lance Stevenson, how would he fit in with this team that they currently have assembled with the Pelicans?
I mean, that's a loaded question as far as how does he fit in. Lance Stevenson on a basketball court, because I saw he went to the Clippers. I was like, oh, man, the Clippers might really do something, and that panned out to nothing. If we're looking at Lance Stevenson and just the player that he is, if he can get to that 25-year-old Lance Stevenson with Indiana, I mean, man, you got to steal.
That's a lot to ask for.
You got a guy that can pretty much do a little bit of everything. But if he's the Lance Stevenson that we've been getting for pretty much the last 2 to 3 years, I mean, how do we even know he's going to make the roster?
Well, it's also a lot of people believe that they think that what's happening with Lance Stevenson signing is because Drew Holiday news. You remember Drew Holiday's wife has been diagnosed with a brain tumor. So he is going to be out indefinitely to start the season off, dealing with his wife's situation. Now, at first we thought Drew Holiday was going to be there, but of course this is understandable, being that he's dealing with his wife's situation.
Yeah.
So we don't know how long he's going to be out. So that move was made in mind, and as you know, he split seasons with the Clippers and Grizzlies last year, and Memphis acquired him from the Clippers via trade February, where he showed some flashes. He averaged about 14.2 and 4 in 26 minutes a game with the Grizzlies. But
we could cut. Let's say we cut that down. Keep the 26 minutes. If he can give us 10 points, man, off the bench, for the deal that they pretty much signed him for, nothing deal. I mean, that would be a good pickup if he doesn't cause any distractions. I actually like Lance Stevenson, and I know most people say he's crazy, and I just feel like the brother probably has a lot going on, and he needs to find a place where he's comfortable and he can get his mind right. If he does do that with the Pelicans, man, we'll be in for a treat.
Okay, so Lance Stevenson comes. That's the good part. He comes in. He provides depth for you, because ultimately I don't think he probably starts the first point guard behind him is Langston Galloway, who comes off the bench, who will start in place of Drew Holiday. But of course, they got Antoine Moore, who could play a 1 or 2. Then there's Tim Frazier, the young point guard they have in there. So I can see why the Pels made the move against Stevenson, because they could use a guy of his caliber. He can play defense. He can shoot the corner 3 sometimes. He's a guy that he can get that ball around. He's an excellent passer, and he's an energizer. Lance Stevenson comes off that bench. He's an energizer. He can get that bench going. So that's something we can look at. But any thoughts before break?
A point forward, bro. I really feel like that's the position.
He's excellent. He's excellent.
Right.
With the
You
ball.
put him in, and you put a little guy from Chicago at point guard.
Antoine Moore.
He's an excellent 3-point shooter. Right. Now you have a lethal combination coming off your bench to score points.
Yeah.
Lance Stevenson is not a slouch on defense.
No.
His mind right.
No.
He was one of the best defenders in his premier 2013-2012 season, a pretty good defender.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about what Lance means to the Pelicans. On the other side of the break, we also got our picks on NFL and more. Stay with us.
Nah, man. I'm not retiring.
I'll still break that old man's ankles.
I'm still gonna knock down turnaround jumpers all day.
That ain't changing.
Man, I drop threes on them all night long.
All night.
All night.
I'll drain threes on you all night.
Man, I dropped 82 on you. I've been Kobe for like 14 years.
I've been him for 16 years.
I won like 15 championships.
I've been Kobe for as long as I can remember.
Dude, you're 8.
Nah, man, I'm not retiring.
I hate Kobe Bryant.
I love that Mamba face.
I hate that Mamba face. I'll dunk on fools.
I'll still hate Kobe Bryant.
I'm still gonna hate him.
He's not done.
This doesn't change a thing.
I am Kobe.
I am Kobe.
I am Kobe Bryant.
I'll still be Kobe Bryant.
Product not yet rated.
The 6, Raptors, Diamond, Key, New Ride, Old Ride, Bad Times, Good Times, Young Money, New Money, OVO, 29, 29, 29, Best I Ever Had, Worst Behavior, Old Crib, New Crib, October, Sound, Festival, Album Time Again, or Acting Time Again, My Friend, My Friends, Younger Me, Older Me, Me as Manny, Me as Jimmy, Me as Drake.
What up, America? This Big Q from the Sports Coma, letting you know that you can follow us and the guys on Facebook, All Saints and Pelican fans, also on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, the Sports Coma. You can also download our podcast at podbean.com. So check us out for all the intense and entertainment talk on the Saints, the Pels, and a hell of a lot more. Only at the Sports Coma, you heard me? Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. We're going over Pelican talk. Lance Stephenson joins the Pels on a 1-year deal. In the wake of the news that Drew Holiday is going to be out dealing with his wife's brain tumor. So our prayers go to Drew Holiday's family and his wife, Miss Lauren Holiday. So all the Sports Coma fans and people across the world, send a prayer out for our boy Drew Holiday and his wife Lauren. To her to get over make it through this tough situation in their life, but life goes on. The Pels compensate by signing Lance Stephenson to a 1-year deal, and we are basically analyzing what part Lance Stephenson plays, being that he hadn't been able to play any serious role with anybody since his days at Indiana. He signed a big lucrative deal to go to play with Hornets. The Hornets couldn't take too much of him. They shipped him out because of his hijinks and locker room fights and stuff like that. But Lance Stephenson played with the Grizzlies. They traded him out to the Clips. He was out there with the Clips for a while, and now he went through the entire free agency period. Nobody picked him up. The Pels say, you know what, we'll give you a shot. We'll give you a try. And what does it mean? We saying Drew Holiday's moving, but, we talking about Tyreke Evans also. Yeah. Tyreke, I personally believe, this is just me, and here I go with me, but I'm just saying Tyreke Evans, I don't think Tyreke Evans is going to play not one game for the Pelicans. That's just my take on it.
Another bold prediction.
I don't think that's right. Coming from, I'm not afraid to put him out there. Y'all know, but I don't think Tyreke Evans is going to dress up one game for the Pelicans. I think soon as he can be healthy enough to be traded, he'll be traded, and because where there's smoke, there's fire, dealing with that Monroe trade. A lot
of damn smoke over there.
Right. So I really do think that when he was healthy last year, Cleveland wanted him. A few other teams wanted Tyreke's services, that he fits well in some of them systems out there. I remember Boston was in the fray, Cleveland was in the fray, and now Milwaukee would love to have a guy Tyreke's caliber.
I love that,
and we would love to get Monroe and bring him home and pair him with our boy AD, and that'll be an awesome
combination.
Right. So of course that would have to involve the Mirasic. So before we switch gears and leave the Pelican talk,
that's potatoes.
Well, Let's talk about that sack of potatoes, also known as Amir Asik, for a second before we switch gears. Amir Asik, he played in the Olympics. He was strong in the Olympics. I've been hearing rumblings and talks about Amir Asik being heard, the criticism. Was even down on himself for that ridiculous.
Did he need to hear the criticism?
He needed to hear as much.
Did he not watch himself on tape?
The criticism was warranted, no doubt about it. Averaging less than 5 points a game and less than 5 rebounds for a guy that's making
less than 5 rebounds in your
just
starter.
south of $10 million a year.
Come on, man, give me at least 8, bro.
I would say double if I'm paying you almost $10 million a year.
You give me 6 points, 8 rebounds. I could talk about you, but I can't be like, he's just hideous, he's horrible.
Right,
but you're serviceable.
But I'm not thinking that there go that word, serviceable. But I'm not saying that Amir Asik is not capable. Pedestrian or serviceable. When we hear those terms, feel insulted. Please feel insulted. But anyway,
it's more respectable than garbage and sack of potatoes.
I would call it that you have to be pretty bad off.
He looked like the marshmallow man, like off Ghostbusters.
That's bad.
Boom, boom. But just come through the lane, he ain't doing nothing.
Well, we causing damage. The marshmallow man tearing up every damn thing.
I say he looked like.
But let's put it to you like this: with Amir Asik going through what he's going through, he played in the round in the Olympics, as you know, and he was a guy that I really felt that he did disappoint majorly. And then he heard the trade rumors about getting him out of here. He's 30 years old. He making just south of $10 million a year, averaging less than 5 points a game, 5 rebounds a game, and hit a 6-year pro. The guy been in that. Now, he had built a reputation when he was with Chicago as being a rim defender. He altered shots. When he left Chicago and went to Houston, when they signed him to do it, he did the same thing he did in Chicago in Houston. Systems, half-court type systems, what have you. He come here with a wide open team. He would have flourished in Monty Williams' system because Monty had the half court thing going, and the defense guy, he's a rim protector.
Well, wasn't he on Monty Williams' pickup?
I think he came somewhere along maybe half the year, I believe.
Yeah, he was a Monty Williams pickup, so maybe we've been a little hard on Amir Asik.
Well, my thing with Amir Asik is the fact that when you sign a contract for that much money and you're making almost $10 million a year, they're gonna expect more out of you than less than 5 points a game and 5
people
rebounds.
Who make like 300,000 a year, don't they put them type of numbers up?
Because a pedestrian could do that. A pedestrian could do that.
Man, look, give me some stilts, and I could go out there and put up.
But let me ask you this before we switch gear. We're going to go into our prep segment next and go over the prep scores for this past weekend for the area. But talking about Amir Asik, is this the year when Amir gets pissed off and said, you know what, I heard everything, I'm down on myself too. He did look good in the Olympics, and there's been rumblings that he's been working out, that he's ready to show and prove that he's worth every dollar of that contract that Dale Demps gave him. What do you say for that?
No. I do not see it. He's too slow, for our system. We running a open system now, man. You got Anthony Davis out on the wing shooting 3-pointers. Like I just don't see it, man. He's gonna be under the rim. But what if he under the rim, on offense, and then one of them 3-pointers get missed, and they're going back the other way? I don't think Amir Asik gonna make it down there. So we're gonna be playing defense with like 4 people.
Well, you're right. His 2016 last year ranked. He played 68 games, averaged 17 points a game. He averaged 4 points a game. Excuse me, I gave him a little bit.
That's minutes, man.
No, 4 points a game.
17 minutes a game.
He averaged 17 minutes a game. He averaged 4 points a game and rebounded just over 6.
There's no excuse for
so
that,
So 4,
man.
6, but 17 minutes. That's not even full. That's not even what starter minutes. That's basically a backup. A guy, a reserve coming off the bench.
Then you the only guy in the block to get all the rebounds, right? Like, run this wide open system.
Well, and then he was dealing with injuries last year too.
Oh, okay.
So he played 68 games, 17 minutes a game. Obviously, he was on the minute restriction. So he did 4 and 6 in 17 minutes play. Is that acceptable?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna switch gears on that. Amir Asa, get your game up, man. Don't have us treating you.
It's 17 minutes, bro. But I mean, he's a big guy. I could deal. You know what? I'm gonna step out on a limb. I can deal with the 4 points. He's only getting trash points. For 17 minutes.
Well, no.
17 minutes.
Still in all.
You ain't running no offense strong.
They're not running no offense strong. But how many shots are they missing where he get garbage points? I mean, this team was pretty pathetic last year. I know they was chunking up bricks.
But check this out. What I could deal with. This is just my perspective.
Okay.
He's got 4 points on the offense. He's not getting the garbage points like you would like. I understand that.
Yes, he is not.
Get the damn rebound.
I
mean, if he gave me 4 points, 9, 8 rebounds, I probably wouldn't be here trashing. I think the worst, and a block or two.
My thing is, if you're making $9 million a year, or actually almost $10 million a year, just south of $10 million a year, then you should be averaging. No, I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about national. I'm talking about coming to this year. You should average at least double, 10 and 10 and 2.
Yeah.
That's 10 rebounds, 10 points a game, and 2 blocks.
Now that's what about 30, 40 minutes.
25, 30 minutes a game. Amir Asa should be able to do that.
17 minutes is going to cut that a little bit.
Well, it should probably cut it down to 8 and 8, or maybe something in that range. Yeah. But he himself was, from previous reports, was dissatisfied.
Like he got a finesse hook shot or something, bro. He ain't got nothing. He got nothing in his offensive toolbox, bro. He got a few nails and a screwdriver and a hammer.
Hence the rumors.
That's it.
Hence the rumors against Monroe, who they say is the worst defender he is, but yet some kind of way he still averages 15 and 10. We'll take that any night besides 4 and 6. Let me tell you what.
Maybe Monroe is not the cornerstone that you build your franchise around, but you cannot tell me Monroe is not a 1,000% upgrade for Amir Ashi, man.
All right, we're gonna leave Amir alone. We're gonna let him go ahead on and see what he can prove.
I got enough for Amir, though.
You got a month, bro. We're gonna be watching.
If we keep you and you play like 10 games, give us some double doubles, man. I'm gonna eat my words, bro. I promise.
Switching gears, we're going into our prep segment for all of our viewers and listeners. Now we have a prep segment that we'll be covering the areas of prep football games, and it's a big deal down here where we're from, as I'm probably pretty sure it is across the country. And here are a few games that we covering. Warren Easton, that's Swede's alma mater. They got their butts handed to them, 41-16 by Tyler, Texas. Helen Cox fell to McMain, 20-17. Carver got it done. They got it done big time for Carver, 28-27 over South Lafourche. Ecole Classique, they fell. Actually whooped on Ridgewood, 56-27. St. Helena College, a college and a career academy over Independence, 48-0. Mangum, 24. The 7 over St. Thomas. Central Lafourche beat up on Vanderbilt Catholic 42. Well, not beat up on them, beat them by 7, 42-35. Metairie Park Country Day blanks Ben Franklin 40-0. Haynes Academy over Lusher 29-26. Cone, they got blanked by North Lake Christian 34-0. Ellender got it done over H.L. Bourgeois 47-14. East Jefferson 23-20 over Bell Chase in a tight one. West Jeff just got edged out by Lutcher 33-32. Jesuit, they fell to St. Paul by 13-10. Grace King, they get smashed by the Owls by the Owls of Chalmette 60-6. Wow, man, y'all just didn't show up. You might as well not even got on the bus for that, man. It made the people,
water boy stuff?
I mean, it made them people spend all that money on gas just to watch something like that. Y'all need to be ashamed of yourself, man. Fontainebleau, they knocked off Bonneville 33-0. False River 34-14 over Homer Christian. Nothing false about them. There was a truth that day. Sophie B. Wright get blanked by Morgan City 7-0. Thomas Jefferson loses to St. Charles 35-6. Riverside Academy, they got it done 33-20 over Parkview Baptist. South Plaquemines 26-21 over Pope John Paul II. Varnado loses by 1 to Pine. Jeanerette 26-6 over Highland Baptist. St. Martin Episcopal, they lose by 3 to Fisher. Archbishop Hannon, got edged out by Covenant Christian 13-12. And Jewel Sumner, they beat Kentwood 14-6. We'll finish up the rest of our games on the other side of the break and talk about the Saints, go over some scores.
Hey, this Sway. I'm about to tune you in. I'll cue you into your one-stop online shop for all your health essentials. Your vitamins, your water filters, healing magnetics, hygiene products, healing crystals, and jewelry. For all this and more, just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
There's no one road out there. No one surface. No one speed. No one way of driving on each and every road. But there is one car that can conquer them all. The Mercedes-Benz C-Class. 5 driving modes let you customize the steering, shift points, and suspension to fit the mood you're in and the road you're on. The 2016 C-Class, starting at $38,950.
Is it true Ciroc vodka makes the best flavors in the world? Take one sip of the lush wildness of Ciroc Red Berry. One taste of the intense ripeness of Ciroc Peach. Even one drop of the explosive freshness of Ciroc Coconut. And the truth will come to your lips. Ciroc Ultra Premium flavors. One sip is all it takes to taste true perfection. Available in Red Berry, Coconut, and Peach. Ciroc. Nothing tastes better than the truth.
The Bud Light Party believes in change. That's why Bud Light has a new look, and we want to share it with everyone. From our national parks to our furthest shores, jackpot, to your living room, look under your seats. Still the same refreshing Bud Light with a new look.
Back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Me and DC in the building tonight. We're going over some scores, the rest of the prep scores for the day. And where will we start at? Kip Renaissance. They got destroyed by Live Oak. What was that, Drew? Yeah, Kip was the last one. Kip Renaissance destroyed by Live Oak 58-0. They were definitely live. West St. John 49-34. Donaldsonville. De La Salle beats Hancock, Mississippi 38-13. Bogalusa blanked by St. James 32-0. Amite 48-13 over Franklinton. St. Martinsville got it done against Assumption 13-8. Riverdale blanked by Newman 47-0. That's Peyton and Eli's high school. Selman, and they just edged out North Shore 7-3. Cy Academy, they fell to Pearl River 36-32. McDonald 35. 32-20 over Slidell. 32-20 over Slidell. St. Michael the Archangel 20 to Zilch over Loringer. Let's see, E.D. White, they fall to Lakeshore 27-23. John Curtis, they got it done against West Monroe 27-13. Terrebonne put the smackdown on South Terrebonne 38-6. Thibodeau 45-24 over East Ascension. They wasn't ascending then. They was descending. St. Amite 50-14 over L.W. Higgins. Higgins, man, wow. St. Aug got it handed to him by 16 to Scotlandville, 36-20. They went up there to Baton Rouge and got spanked. Etna Carr 42-34 over Landry. 45-14 Hornville over Patterson. Hammond got it done against Holy Cross by 15-13. Errett. They knocked off East St. John by 20, 41-21.
Shout out Lorenzo White, my little nephew.
Destrehan, they put the smack down on Woodlawn, the Baton Rouge 34-7. Rummel blanks Covington 21 Zilch. Brother Martin gets it done. That's Ray Alma Mater. 42-7 over St. Stanislaus of Mississippi. Barbary gets the win over Mandeville 26-17. Archbishop Shaw gets blanked by Turlin's Catholic 38-0.
Damn.
And
They used to be good.
They used to be good. Long time ago.
Damn.
And Ponchatoula by 1 over Acadiana 24-23. And that completes the Sports Coma prep scoreboard.
Yeah.
And what do you think of some of those scores? I know you partial to that
Only score I see is the John Eyre Patriots score. They were in the Dome last year. I'm trying to see them get back to the championship this year, man.
Well, you know, they're a good team. I think you got to look out, too, because John Curtis is another one of those teams that always plays hard every year. The coaches just wins. That's just what the guy does. He wakes up and wins trophies every year.
They got commercials and stuff.
Yeah, they sell siding and leveling products.
You can't move those bricks.
And leveling products. So, I mean, I've never heard a high school do that.
Yeah, they on another level.
Yeah, that's different there. But anyway, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about the Saints. Going to the Saints today. The Saints playing Oakland tomorrow on Sunday at 12 o'clock, September 11. A very important day for a lot of Americans. The Saints they'll be playing against the Oakland Raiders in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. And during this segment, we'll cover the Saints and we'll go over our NFL picks of who we believe will win in Week 1 NFL rankings. So, DC, my man, what do you think about the Saints today? Can Drew Brees and company get it done against that young Oakland Raider team that Dennis Allen used to coach a couple years ago? Can we use some of that know-how from Dennis Allen being out there? I know Del Rio changed the game up and he came with a different system, but he did have Carr for a year when he was out there. What do you think is going to happen with the Saints and Raiders tomorrow?
Well, I think the Saints are naturally going to take this one. If you look at our 2 seasons where we went 7-9, we started both of those seasons on the road. And for the first time, we're opening at home. And we don't really lose opening home games, man. Then you have the aspect of Dennis Allen, who knows a lot of these players on that team. He helped draft them, and he got some good talent over there. They got some good people. This is not they ain't nothing to sneeze at, bro.
Right.
So I think, they may have changed their system. They maybe still do some things. But I know one thing that doesn't change. You cannot change player tendencies. Then you have a coach that pretty much knows these players. So I think we kind of have like a little leg up on knowledge of some of these people other than the new additions they have on defense, because they got a lot of new people starting on defense. I think it's like maybe 3 or 4 new starters on defense.
Right.
But that could also work into our favor with the chemistry aspects. I mean, they're not going to be perfect coming out their first game. These guys never played in a real game together. So they got a lot of kinks to work out just like we do. Maybe they didn't look as bad in the preseason, but they're definitely still an unfinished product.
Well, Daniel Ellerby, no really shocking news for most Saints fans. No, Daniel Ellerby is not going to be available to play this game. He's suffering from a quad injury.
Oh, really?
He didn't Yeah, that's really breaking news, isn't it? Daniel Ellerby is not available. Anyway, Craig Robertson will fill in for him. What is surprising is that Mike Thomas had an ankle injury, but he's listed as questionable. Now, y'all remember that the NFL did get rid of the probable designation. There's no such thing as probable designation anymore. So pretty much
questionable and doubtful. No?
Right, it's questionable and doubtful. Probable, because usually questionable means you're not playing. I mean, you know, when you're not playing, but probable means you're playing. Questionable means you're not playing. But you know that, like I said, they got rid of that designation now, so it's just between doubtful and questionable now. And they got Mike Thomas listed as such, but I've read in different articles that Mike Thomas will play in the game. How much, I don't know, but Armstead will play, and Mike Thomas will make his appearance. He will play, which is good news, because as long as he can play and keep Brandon Coleman off the field would be good for me.
I think Tommy Lee Lewis got a leg up on that too.
Yes, we're gonna probably see him in the kick return game. Looking at it too, the unofficial draft depth chart came out, and it made 2 real improvements there. Yeah, no, it made 2 improvements there. Jari Evans is going to start, and of course at right guard. Right. Andrews Peter play left guard, and Paul Kruger is the new in outside of Cam Newton. on that line. I mean, Cam Jordan. I keep saying Cam.
Well, we know what he gonna be doing tomorrow.
Yes. So it'll be interesting to see what Paul Kruger can do.
Rushing the passer.
Right. We haven't seen him. We haven't seen Paul Kruger at all. Remember, he got his deal finalized right at the end of the preseason, so we couldn't get him on the field for that last preseason game to see what he could do. It'll be interesting. That'll be a guy I would like to keep my eyes on. He did say that he's been practicing at the end position. Usually he played the outside linebacker stand-up position, but he said at this stage of his career it feels good. Right, but he said at this stage of his career to play the end position at his size feels natural to him, and I think that he will do terrific. Then you got Kasimi Debale backing him up as well, and I think he'll come in there and really help out too. So I think I give the edge to the Saints in this matchup. What say you?
Oh yeah, the Saints definitely have the edge, man. There's a lot of things that's just falling into their favor, and I think they have a real bad taste in their mouth with this preseason debacle that we had. We couldn't win at least one game, so they're gonna be real hungry for a victory. They playing in the dome. And I think it's
gonna be electric, and I think the Saints gonna feed off of that, and they're gonna get that win.
Drew Brees just signed a contract, man. A bunch of people are gonna be happy about that.
Oh yeah, it's electric.
We brought back one of our own that a lot of Saints felt were done wrong in Jari Evans, so they made that right with him.
Yes,
they got a lot of momentum, man, going in their favor.
They sure do. I mean, after a disastrous preseason, we seen some good, some bad. I like a lot of what they did. Just didn't like the Cortland Finnegan move. I think they should bring Finnegan back. Although I really think after the second week you're gonna see him bring Cortland Finnegan back. So don't call me a seer or psychic when that happens.
Bring back Keenan Lewis too?
No, we don't go that far. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about we're not usually what we do before the games on these broadcasts before Sunday happens. NFL games is during the regular season. We're going to make the picks and we'll post the picks of who's picking what. So all of the guys, me, DC, Maserati 5, Suede, and Big Boy David, all these guys, you'll see their picks on the board. Who's winning at the end of the season? The winner gets dinner paid for by all the guys and a trophy after picking all the contests right. That's something we got going on here at the Sports Coma. So you can follow along that. We'll be posting those standings of our picks on Twitter, and you can follow along with us.
Sure that's going to be an expensive meal.
If it's involved me, it's going to be expensive. But let's go with the picks. Let's talk about our picks and who we're going to pick. We're going to start it off with you. We got the Green Bay Packers. Of course, the Saints. We got the Saints going ham. They're going to take care of the
unanimous decision. Everybody's voting for the Saints.
Now let's go with the Packers and Jaguars. I got the Packers in that matchup. Who you got?
I'm going with the Jaguars, man. I'm going to step out on a limb and make this my sleeper pick. Everybody would pick the Packers, but I think the Jaguars are a team that's right there on the edge, and they're in a very comfortable place of having pressure on them, but not having too much pressure on them. So they're playing with house money, man.
It's time for the Jaguars to step up. They've been having this excuse for years. We still a rebuilding team. I think this year they got Blake Bortles there. They got those young wide receivers there. They got the tight ends finally there. They got piece offensive line together. They had multiple drafts to build a defense. They
Julian
got Jalen
Thomas is not hurt.
Right, Julian Thomas is there. They got a lot of weapons there, and it's time for them to show what they can do in that division over there and make a claim. So Chris Ivory and T.Y. Yeldon.
Chris Ivory's out.
Well, that's that. Chris Ivory's a good back to me, but he should be the backup back because I like T.Y. Yeldon out there.
I like T.J. Yeldon too.
That dude is a real star. He's an excellent back. And that guy needs to be starting for his all-purpose back.
What about Denarius, too? Do they still have Denarius over there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
He was real good, man. He's quarterback converted to running back. I've never seen
that
before,
was I forgot that guy's name. I know who you're talking about, though.
It's Denarius.
They completed him to a wide receiver, I believe.
He played wide receiver. He played running back. He did it all. He excelled at all.
He's NFL's answer
he's
to
like
an athlete. He's a college athlete. He can do it all.
Yeah. He's a little Swiss Army knife.
So that's what we picks up on it. Okay, for the listeners, our broadcast, we're gonna go into a little overdrive too to cover the rest of these picks. We're gonna go through the entire NFL, and you can go on Twitter, Sports Coma at Twitter, and chime in on us and tell us if you agree with our picks or not, and tell us why you disagree. If you like, thumbs up, thumb us up. But Twitter, follow us on Twitter, the Sports Coma at Twitter. You can follow us there, and also chime in, throw out some insight. Talk about our picks. Going into the next pick we're going over is the Chargers and the Chiefs. Who you got?
Oh, I got the Chiefs, man. That's a no-brainer.
Chiefs. Also, I got the Chiefs as well. I think the Chiefs gonna get it done. Like Andy Reid, I like Alex Smith in that system. Jamal Charles is healthy. They were able to bring back some of the key pieces. Jamal Charles.
They do real good with Spencer Wells.
But I still like West.
West.
Yeah, and West. I still like this. So regardless of what, they got the offensive line, they're moving, and I think Kansas City this year is going to be looking to make a statement. You know, Andy Reid had enough time to put his system in place.
Don't sleep on that rookie. Well, he ain't a rookie no more. They cornerback that they drafted last year, man. 8 picks last year.
Yes.
As a rookie.
That's sky's the limit for that guy, man. Also, we're going to go into, let's take a look at our next picks. Saints should have drafted a lot of people. Bengals at the Jets, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Bengals, man.
Okay.
From top to bottom, this is probably the most talented team in the league.
The Bengals. I got the Bengals, too. At first, I'm going to be honest with you. I have to say this because I said, okay, I like the Bengals. But I looked at this matchup. Something was gnawing at me. My first mind said, "Go Bengals."
You trying to cover yourself in case the Jets win?
That's what I'm doing. And I said to myself, you know what? The first mind said, "Let's go with the Bengals." And then I said, you know what? No, it's at home. The Jets won 10 games last year. They're a team on the rise. Todd Bowles is a good football coach. He had another year to build his team toward his liking. It's going to be a tough environment for Cincinnati to play in against that stout Jet defense. And I wanted to give it to the Jets, but then my first mind says keep it with the Bengals. So it must going to be.
Is Brandon Marshall playing tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't think he's playing tomorrow. I'm not certain. I'm gonna have to check on that. But the Bengals. But I'm thinking since I feel like that, it's gonna probably be a close one. That's what I'm thinking deep down inside. But
well, I mean, naturally with the Jets, pretty much every game they lose is a close one.
They are a tough team, man. They're a tough team. Browns and the Eagles. Interesting matchup here. We making these picks. Y'all got to remember that this is not the same Brown club they had last year, so don't automatically mark them for a loss every time they play somebody. But the Browns did make a lot of.
They're playing the Eagles. What are the Eagles?
Well,
they got that massive front seven on defense, but other than that, what do they really have?
Well, you look at the Eagles, and I think the Eagles have been a team. Right now, they don't want to use the R word because it's a bad word to use.
Rebuilding.
Yes. So
it's like a curse word. But nobody's ever rebuilding,
especially
right?
if you're Philadelphia. That's not a team.
The Jaguars. Who else is rebuilding, man? Who's always rebuilding? I can't say the Lions no more.
Pretty much the Browns.
Yeah, the Browns. The Browns and the Jaguars. They're always rebuilding. They
Browns,
hold their title, and they don't have no qualms about it.
The Browns are in a perpetual building cycle. Let's just get that out and open. They know it and we know it. We're gonna just call it what it is. But Browns.
I like the Browns. I like the Browns.
I do like the Browns. I like the coach there. I think he's gonna bring a different culture there. It might
quarterback whisperer.
It might take a couple of years to get it. He picked RG3. I like RG3, but I don't like the injuries. RG3 is not a very stable guy to build your offense around.
Well, I saw him. I actually saw him running and slide in the preseason.
Yeah, so I mean he
didn't know how to slide for about 2 years.
Right, so I mean he needs to learn that, get that under hand.
And he looked like he had some speed with him too.
Or find the side,
Jets back.
right? Or find the sideline. You don't see something you like, throw the ball out of bounds. I mean he's elusive enough to get on the ground, man. Even if you can't slide, get on the ground, man. Just get on. Just
I want to see that guy do good.
Just think about yourself in a burning building. Just stop, drop, and roll. But who you got?
Then what if he gets injured doing that?
Oh, then he don't need to be on the football field if he gets injured doing that. The Browns. So, like I said, the Eagles have Carson Wentz starting at the quarterback position. They did trade Sam Bradford to the Minnesota Vikings because of that terrible injury that happened to Teddy Bridgewater. So
man, they unloaded that $40 million over there.
Got rid of him for a first and a fourth.
Oh my God!
They got a first and a fourth round pick.
Eagles are winning.
And
their rebuilding is going to be.
Don't say rebuilding for Philadelphia. But who you got in that matchup? Who you got? Cleveland or Philly?
Oh, I'm going with Cleveland, man.
Wow.
RG3, to me, I think this is going to be his comeback year. Maybe he can steal that momentum back from Andrew Luck, because if you notice, him and Andrew Luck came out together, and everybody was saying Andrew Luck was going to be this and that. And RG3 actually was the rookie of the year that year.
Yes, he was. And I remember his first game was against the Saints, and he told him a new one.
Yeah,
he was
we gave him a good head start.
He was quite a quarterback start until he built tape on him. Then it was over.
He ran through the whole NFC East, man.
He did until they got enough tape on him. Then it was over.
I don't really think it was a matter of getting tape on him. They changed their scheme.
They
didn't catch up to him until next year.
If you remember,
he went through the playoffs and everything. They had tape on him in the playoffs.
What happened with Shanahan? A a lot of people believed he lost his confidence.
He blew out his knee
when he hit that injury. Then you got him out there on the brace plan. He running around, and you should have just set the man down. But anyway, that's why Shanahan don't have a job now.
Exactly.
But you like the Browns in that matchup?
You know they say he doesn't favor black quarterbacks.
Oh, we're not gonna touch that. There's quite a few of them we heard in the league that don't, but we're not gonna touch that one. But I like the Browns also in that matchup simply because Philadelphia, Carson Wentz hadn't played at all. He played didn't look too much like anything didn't warrant that he'll come out here like gangbusters and hang one on Browns. The Browns named RG3 the starter from the gate, and there had been no controversy, which I think that was
captain. That says
a lot. That means that they have a lead on the team. They put it all on his shoulders, and he's gonna have to show us something. I think he might be able to.
Really trust him. Man.
Yes. So we both say the Browns in that matchup. Let's go Minnesota and the Titans. Who you like in that matchup?
I like the Titans, man. I'm excited about this ground and pound, man.
Really, you like the Titans?
I really miss the running game in the NFL.
Well, you ain't gonna miss it because they got two big burly backs there.
And, man,
that's gonna them guys.
Oh man, Henry is something else. Now,
Henry and DeMarcus.
I'm gonna step out on a limb, bro. In college, I don't know. Maybe I was blind. Maybe I had my hands over my eyes. I always felt like his runs, which I'm like, man, this got to be the offensive line. Like, he big. He's supposed to run over these little guys. But, man, when that guy strapped him up in the preseason and he was doing this to grown men out there in the NFL, it's like, you know what? It's enough, man. I got to stop making excuses for him not being that damn good.
And I got to be honest with you. If you look at what the Tennessee Titans was doing, I always viewed the Tennessee Titans as Baltimore's little brother. It always mirrored what Baltimore was trying to do. Baltimore was a team that mirrored itself after Pittsburgh. If you look at it, they put real similar styles. Run the ball, stop the run, athletic defense.
They always have a good defense. They always do.
Because that's the staple with Pittsburgh, with the Steelers, with Baltimore. And the Titans, if you look at them, I think they're mirroring themselves after those ball clubs. I like the acquisition that Titans got on defense, but more importantly, I like the young quarterback Mariota, and I like the addition of giving him a tight end and the running game. DeMarco Murray, they were able to get DeMarco Murray there, and then you get Henry with him. Those two guys together, that's 4 yards a carry. Maybe 5 yards a carry with Henry. Because I take DeMarco out and I put Henry in.
Fresh.
Yeah, and I'm going to put Henry in the second quarter. How you love that? So,
don't forget about Andre Johnson, man. I think
Andre Johnson,
he really looking
he can get him young wide receiver something because I
think he may be able to give something. He had no quarterback. Andrew Luck.
I wouldn't say he didn't have no quarterback. Luck was a pretty decent quarterback.
Luck was hurt last year, man. Lacerated kidney.
I know he was hurt and whatnot, but still in all, you got the quarterback in there. He still got to throw the ball to somebody. Your first option is who? I mean, come on,
Andre Johnson.
Who you got? Who do you got? If you ain't throwing to Andrew Johnson, who you throwing to?
I'm looking for him to make a comeback this year. You got to think about it, man. If this ground and pound thing is real, then they're going to have a lot of play action.
So no love for Sam Bradford as the Minnesota starting quarterback to get it done against the Tennessee Titan club half the time.
No. Normally I would say no, but I'm actually a little optimistic about this. The Sam Bradford thing, let's be honest. Sam Bradford played for St. Louis.
Yes.
What did he really have in St. Louis?
Injuries.
Okay, when he wasn't injured,
pedestrian.
What did he have?
Pedestrian.
He was pedestrians, right?
Yes.
And
he wasn't even serviceable.
He looked okay when he was out there with St. Louis, honestly.
He had some games.
He
never lived.
He strung together a couple of seasons, but it's pretty decent.
But the thing,
he never lived up to that number one.
That's what it was. Sam Bradford, when he came down, remember, Sam Bradford was the last year they had those ridiculous contracts they was offering. He was the last of the payoffs. He got paid. Now he didn't help anybody make a case for himself. Well, let's keep it. They earn it. It's the fact that how he played and the time that he was with St. Louis.
Sam Bradford been getting paid his whole career.
He has been getting paid.
They've been paying him on potential. Huh?
Yeah, he's been a potential paid. I mean, that's why we should keep Brandon Coleman around. Potentially, he could live up to his size one day. It always goes back to Brandon, man.
But check this out though.
But no,
I look at it like
Sam
this.
Bradford.
I'm gonna give him a little love, man. I'm gonna be realistic about it. I've seen him when he was healthy. And I wasn't going to be like, I was blown away, but I was like, okay, he's a pretty decent quarterback. You know, he's not stupid. He doesn't make a whole bunch of turnovers. He don't take stupid gambles, but he does gamble. You know what I'm saying? Which is what you want in a quarterback. You want your quarterback to take some risks. And he going to have a world-class running game and a world-class defense. Sam Bradford has never had that in his career, man.
Well,
all he has to do is go out there and to not lose the game.
No, only thing
it's a different territory for Sam Bradford.
Only thing I think really
just be Trent Dilfer.
Well, only thing he has to do really to be Sam Bradford is to go out and stay healthy. Which is a feat
he stayed healthy last year most of the time.
Yes, 1 year out of how many years? So, Philly seen the light and they got him out of there. Good for Philly.
He couldn't have been that bad. I mean, if they immediately agreed to give him like $40 million for like 2 years, that's Drew Brees money.
But I have to be desperate to give you a first and a fourth for Sam Bradford and his massive contract, which I am because I'm the Minnesota Vikings. I'm desperate. I lost my starting quarterback. We're set up to be a deep run playoff team with Peterson and all these guys and a healthy, a good defense, and we got a brand new stadium and we looking good. Then all of a sudden, hey, we got to do something. Let's get this guy. But guess what? The line better keep them upright. Keep those people off there. If you can do that, you'll get a decent season out of Sam Bradford.
The Vikings have a pretty good line.
They do. If they can get the ball to Adrian Peterson and let Bradford be a management.
Man. His name ain't all day for no reason.
All day. Give it all day. And Bradford, don't tell me he could be a little bit more than the manager. I don't think we've seen the best of Sam Bradford
I'm
just
not
yet.
saying he can't be more than the manager. I think he has the tools, man. He has a decent he can put the ball in spots. He can throw it down the field.
He hasn't shown me anything, but
I'm just saying for them to win, all he really has to do is manage the team.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all he needs to do to
and
win.
Manage to stay
if you can manage the team.
Let him manage.
Take a few risks here, throw the ball down the
I
field.
get what you're saying, and I agree with you, Coach. But what I'm saying is that you got to manage to stay healthy before you can manage anything else. Or you gonna manage to be holding a damn clipboard on the side with an earpiece in your head, Secret Service.
Next to Teddy Bridgewater.
Sucking up that $40 million contract.
Sean Hill over him. This
that's why I got the Titans.
They don't trust him.
Well, that's why I got the Titans. So thank you very much, Minnesota. We're gonna go to our next pick, Chicago at the Texans. Now that's a tough pick. Who do you have?
J.J. Watt. Come on, man. This guy is he's invincible, dude.
Yeah, but is he playing quarterback?
No. But how good?
I know he catches passes.
How good is Jay Cutler really playing quarterback these days
know.
Without his quarterback Whisperer going to Miami?
I think the question mark is
and
their
rookie isn't lining up. So after Alshon Jeffrey, they have nothing.
Right, but I'm looking at Osweiler.
I'm not sold on Osweiler.
Osweiler. Kevin White's not going to be there.
But come on, man. The Texans have been so far.
Yeah, but so has Chicago.
With no quarterbacks. They've been in the playoffs like the last 3 years.
They don't have it.
Can you name me the players? Can you name me the quarterbacks from those 3 playoff teams?
No, I cannot.
Just give me one.
David Carr.
No. That was for when it was first came to the
Brian
league.
Hoyer.
Man. I don't even think he finished start quarterback last year.
See, that's pathetic, man. Brock Osweiler is the quarterback that gave him a hefty contract to move on from the Denver Broncos that left John Elway even more red-faced than what he usually is. But I believe the Houston Texans will get it done against the Chicago Bears too in Houston, and J.J. Watt is just gonna make Jay Cutler very uncomfortable all day. And when he's not doing it, Davion Clowney is gonna be making him uncomfortable. So I would give the win to the Houston Texans, and I agree with you. Going to our next matchup, the Bills at the Ravens. Who do you got? Tyrod Taylor. Who you got?
This is a tough one, man, because my partner is a Baltimore fan, so he's probably going to hate me. But I'm picking the Bills.
You got the Bills, really?
Yeah, man. I think the Bills are a very interesting team, man. It's an all-or-nothing type team. Like, it's like, the Bills may make the playoffs, or they may be absolutely garbage. Like, it's one of those type of teams, man. But I probably shouldn't because, we got Mr. Hell over there.
Well, we got...
But he did dish out a lot of dirt on our coach, but I still kind of like Rob Ryan. And I'm going to hold to the fact that he's over there with his brother, and they're both defensive minded.
He won't fire his brother.
He won't fire his brother.
He finally keep a job.
But let's hope his lucky charm works off. He always does good in his first year.
I'll tell you what, his brother
defense is great in the first year.
Well, the worst that can happen is his brother. The best thing happening is his brother won't fire him, but the worst thing happening is he can get his brother fired.
Oh.
You know, by being a sucky
Maybe he
defensive
just
coordinator.
gracefully bow out if that comes to that.
Well, who knows? They're twins, so whatever pain he take, the other one gonna take, right? But I mean, to be honest with you, I understand that pick.
But I'm really looking at LaShawn McCoy. I'm looking at him. They actually have Reggie Bush. I don't think a lot of people think of him.
Yeah, I remember that Reggie Bush. I think he's more like.
I always like Reggie Bush. People are hard on him.
You know, Reggie's 30.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, Reggie was like. He like one of them cats, you know, like you throw water on him and just get out of the way, man. He didn't take a lot of licks.
No, he didn't.
He always ran out of bounds. So I think he's 30, but I think he's a young 30. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I like Baltimore in the matchup at home. I don't think the Bills going to be able to get it done against them at home. I think it'll be a little bit too much to them. Right. I think the defense.
But if you're wrong.
I think the defense, the Baltimore defense, I think they'll give Tyrod Taylor and make it very uncomfortable for him. I like Baltimore at home.
They got Eric Weddle.
Right. I like Baltimore at home. Terrell Suggs is going to be there.
Steve Smith gonna cut up. I just want to throw that in there. He does it every week one. Steve Smith always balls out in the beginning of the season.
So I just think that even though I like Buffalo's defense, they got a really good defense.
Yeah.
I think that it's just I think they're just not ready for Baltimore right now.
I think they all gonna miss.
They coming, but they're not
miss
there
Mario,
yet.
Man.
Mm-hmm. They're not there yet. Tampa Bay and Atlanta, the hated Atlanta Falcons. As a Saints fan, you got Tampa Bay. Who do you have?
I picked Tampa Bay because I don't hate them as much as Atlanta. That's basically all it is. Honestly, I think Tampa Bay is a team that's on the rise, man. Just getting out of the rivalry thing and away from being a Saints fan. When you look at them, man, they have a pretty good core of talent, man. Jameis Winston is a very amazing quarterback, and I think he's gonna rise to the top over the years. It probably takes a little while to fully mature. But then you got Doug Martin, that running back, and they got two outstanding receivers and decent tight end, man. I haven't seen anybody that can just shut them down if they got their mind right. So Atlanta's defense to me is what made me pick this, because I don't see a lot from them on the defense side of the ball. They went out and drafted safety. And he actually got hurt.
He did get hurt.
So,
and he had injury concerns.
They were really counting on him too.
But he's one of those.
They
really needed that
step
guy,
up,
right? Because Willie Moore's not there anymore. I actually picked in this game. I actually picked the Atlanta Falcons at home against Tampa Bay. It's just too many people I like on the Atlanta side of the ball that I don't think Tampa Bay could stop. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And 4 words: Devontae Freeman, Julio Jones. I mean, who do you got from Tampa Bay that can stop those guys? Devontae Freeman.
Nobody.
A lot of people don't understand.
Who do you have in NFL can stop Julio Jones?
I mean, Devin Bro slowed them down the first time they played. And maybe
you got about 15 cornerbacks maybe could slow him down.
Maybe Peterson, some of the best.
Can't stop it. I seen him.
Sherman.
He did something dirty.
A couple of years ago, Sherman is pretty good at getting his hands on you and getting away with stuff to kind of slow you down, talking to you to try to get you out your game. But you slowly see him getting burnt too. They try to slow away from that, but he be getting toasted. He ain't talking half as much.
He ain't want to follow receivers to the other side of the field for a good reason.
Right. So he stays where he's comfortable at. But Peterson's another guy that I like that might but there ain't no stopping Julio Jones. It's not that kind of party, and neither is it if you had a guy like Kelvin Johnson. It's only a handful of guys I would say was unstoppable. Kelvin Johnson was one of them, and Julio Jones is the other one.
And Antonio Brown, you is not going to disrespect him and not say his name.
Antonio Brown.
He's eclipsing Kelvin Johnson type.
Yes, he has 130 something catches last year.
Yes.
Ain't no doubt about it. I got to put Antonio Brown up there, and But the Falcons, like I said, just don't think Tampa Bay got enough to stop Devontae Freeman last year. 11 touchdowns, man. 11 touchdowns, averaging 4 yards a carry. I just like that. I like my thing about it.
But you got Doug Martin with 1,400 yards, man.
Yeah, but Atlanta, to me, I think Atlanta, to me, is going to be energized by that crowd. They did make some draft picks, some free agency signings to help shore up that leaky defense. Dan, what's the coach name? The coach down there.
I don't even know that coach name, so he can't be that good.
I can't remember his name. The guy from Seattle. The fella from Seattle, but They knew what we talking about. But but he was a guy, man. He was built there for the defense. They knew they had the offense already installed.
But doesn't it usually take about maybe 3 years or so to get your players in and
it's about that
transition to
time.
other players?
It's about that time.
This is second year, man.
But it's about that time because he wasn't. His defense last year was just horrible. Yeah. That's what kept the team back. But I think this year they made a lot of really good, solid pickups to help fill some of those holes. They don't have to have every hole filled, but they got the right personnel at the right places. Now, if they can stay healthy, I think they can be able to do some stuff in there. Not against my team, of course, or your team, but against Tampa Bay, I think they'll get enough in the Georgia Dome to get a win from.
I definitely think it's a game that comes down to the wire, and it's gonna go down to maybe the last couple of minutes, but. For some reason, I just see Tampa Bay edging it out, man, and we really gonna get to see.
Well, you got
Jameis Winston.
It's Jameis Winston. Well, you got Vic Beasley. They finally got Vic Beasley.
If Vic Beasley can turn up and be what he's supposed to be, that could change the whole dynamic.
They got Vic Beasley. That was a guy they was really counting on last year. He was hurt, so they got him back 100% healthy. He'll be one of those pass rushers on the side that's real tough.
Trufant is another guy that's pretty
Trufant.
amazing.
That's right, Trufant. And
but I don't think he's gonna be able to stick Mike Evans and Vincent Jackson. So.
Right. Well, we'll see. But like I said, it's going to be a good affair. I think Atlanta comes out with the win. The Miami Dolphins at the Seattle Seahawks. Who you got?
Man, that's a no-brainer, man. Are we really going to talk about this one?
Well, we got to.
This the Seahawks, man.
Seahawks all the way. Okay, I agree with
you. They ain't even worrying about the Dolphins. They talking about what they going to do for the anthem. We're coming out as team unity. They're not even worried about the Dolphins.
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, going to Seattle from Miami is a tough stretch to go. Yeah. They have some. I just don't.
I do think Miami will improve this year.
I think they will too.
Who can't? There's a handful of teams that can go to Seattle in game one and win. Man, there's not a lot of teams that's gonna be able to do that.
Miami has the offense and the quarterback that can get it done. They got Adrian Foster now. That's running behind that line. He's a shifty, a pretty good running back. They give him a balance there. They got the tight end. I forgot the fella name. He came from Cleveland last year. Jordan Hayward. He's the opposite of Cam Jordan. Jordan Cameron.
Jordan Cameron. I was thinking about the other guy that they have now.
No, not Barnage, but it's Jordan Cameron. He's a guy that's actually healthy. He'll be playing. They got them receivers all in place.
They still have Brandon Hartline over there?
Brian Hartline, I'm not certain. I think he
was a security.
Yeah, a little slot man. But they got Kenny Stills. They got
Kenny Stills been looking pretty good too.
They still got Jarvis Landry out there. They still got the other fella they drafted, Devontae Parker. I think his name. Yeah. So they got
a dangerous little team.
They do. But the thing about it, can they put it together in the first week against Seattle? In Seattle, no.
Not against the Legion of Boom.
No, not against Legion of Boom. Seattle all the way. Cowboys and the Giants. Cowboys at home. Who do you have?
The Dak Prescott era is starting, baby.
And you going?
I got the Cowboys, man. I'm going with the youth over the experience, man. And they have two rookies that are. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen two rookies get so much press in the preseason and kind of live up to the expectations.
Which is Dak Prescott and
Ezekiel Elliott, man.
Yeah.
They were both impressive in the preseason. They did everything that everybody would have wanted them to do.
Well, Deke kind of really impressed people with his play. But the guy's a quarterback. He reminds me, a lot of people you're going to hear a lot of guys make this comparison now, but he reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson.
Really?
He does. Yes, he does. If you look at his tape when he played at Mississippi State, I know he does a lot of things very well. He moves. He gets around that pocket. He knows when to run, when not to run. He has a good arm to throw the ball deep. He's a pretty accurate passer in the short. In terms of short, he can throw different type. He has many different throws, and I think the guy is a fantastic quarterback. And I like what Dallas is going to do. Dallas is going to give the ball off to their three-headed running back, which is Elliott, Alfred Morris, and McFadden.
McFadden, I think, is actually still hurt.
Okay, so I still like
two-headed monster.
Well, they got I forgot the other guy there, but they got enough backs where they're gonna hand the ball off, where they'll be able to keep the pressure off of Deke from being able to do anything. Yeah. And guess what? I got two security blankets if I need to throw the ball up. I got Jason Witten and I got Dez Bryant.
He already got amazing chemistry with Dez Bryant.
That's what I'm saying. Where I can throw the ball anywhere in the vicinity.
I mean, who wouldn't have amazing chemistry with Dez Bryant?
I mean, any pedestrian will go out there and throw the ball and have 1,000 yards. But Dez Bryant alone.
Unlike Amir Ashik, Dak Prescott has overstuffed toolbox.
Wow. He snuck him in.
I can't let it go, man. I can't let it go.
All right, we both got the Cowboys in that matchup. I like it too.
With the Giants, one other thing though, I did pick the Cowboys, but I do want to bring up the fact that I am aware that they have nobody to rush the passer. Cause they the bad boys in the NFL, man. Both of their guys are suspended for 4 games.
Yeah.
So that could be a very interesting point. So
yeah,
it'd probably be a close game.
I still like Dallas in that home.
I like Dallas too.
Detroit and Indianapolis. What do you think about that contest? Detroit and Indianapolis. I got the Colts in that matchup.
I wanted to pick the Colts, but my first mind keep telling me the Lions, baby.
What do the Lions have that make you think they're gonna be a winning team? Minus Megatron. Don't forget that. You didn't replace Megatron. What did you pick up?
I actually have I got a lot of friends.
Did they get Mohamed Sanu?
Mohamed Sanu, you're saying it wrong.
Sanu. They're gonna put him under the Sanu if he don't show up and play some games.
I got a lot of friends, man, and they all have different teams and stuff they like. So I actually have a partner who likes the Lions. So I got an inside track. I hear a lot about them, and the one thing that I am sold on is Golden Tate, man. I think he's lived up to the expectations of being what he's supposed to be over there. He was a number 2, but he plays like a number 1.
He does.
Anquan Bolden, I don't think he's done. I think he still has something left. I like Amir Abdullah, their running back, man. I wanted the Saints to get him. I thought he'd been a nice little Darren Stroles type back. Yeah. He's a good change of pace back. Theo Riddick, their starting running back, is also pretty decent. They also have Ebron, a tight end, man, crazy fast tight end.
Gotta show me more.
He's inconsistent, but when he's on, he's on.
Right, gotta show me more.
I don't know what you're gonna get out of Sanu.
He got a lot of money tied to him. So I mean, from what the roster looking like on it is saying Sanu, and then taking maybe Bolden and Tate in the slot or something to that degree. So I mean,
Sanu probably gonna wind up being a slot, I would think.
I don't know. I don't know. I like
Tate would be a number 1, but I can see him lining up.
But I like Anquan Bolden, and I like Tate. I like both those guys as a starter, and Sanu probably would do better. Yeah, I think Sanu would probably be better in the slot, being that he's not better than any one of those guys. So usually that's how I go.
But the defense of the Lions is also they have an impact player on each level. I think linebacker at on DN you got Ashir. I cannot pronounce his name, but
I think
you got Loomis back there at safety.
Right, too. Loomis, yeah.
And Levy at linebacker.
I look at the Colts, and I say,
what do the Colts have? Let's talk about the Colts.
Well, the Colts are a team. They got Andrew Luck.
That's about it.
And
Robert Mathis is getting kind of old. I think he's still good.
He can still get to him.
Yeah,
he can still cause problems when he need to.
I'm just not sold on the Colts, man. Everybody gave them an excuse for injuries last year. I don't know. It just looked horrible.
I like the Colts in this matchup.
I think they turn around this year, but I don't know if they do it this year.
I just don't think Detroit is. I like Indianapolis in this matchup. I think a lot of people gonna be surprised by the Colts this year. I think that Andrew Luck, he signed his deal last year. He took it kind of hard that. Coming off the injury, so he's going to be reamped to get back to what he was prior to the injury. He's healthy now, so let's get this team together. He got a few weapons around there that can help him. So, I mean, I think that the Colts will be able to muster enough points up to beat Detroit and Indianapolis.
I don't think the Colts going to go to the next level until they get a running game, man.
Well, they're pretty decent at the running back position right now. They ain't
serviceable.
Right, but I think I still like the Colts in this matchup. They don't have to be world beaters; they just have to beat the Lions.
Right.
So I give them that win. The Patriots, and getting down to the really heavy games, we got the New England Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals. Who do you have?
I am not sold on the Jimmy Garoppolo era, and I don't think they're gonna win on this fact. He came out this week. And you know what this prick said, man? He took a shot at Mr. All-Time Greatness. He said the quarterback room has been operating fluidly and amazingly since Tom Brady left. I don't know.
He got to make some kind of headroom because he damn sure ain't making no noise on the field.
But you also you got the Patriots, man, without their best player going up against a stacked Cardinals team. Who has a nasty taste in the mouth? Do you remember that Carolina game? Because I remember that game.
Yeah.
That was a bad game.
Yeah.
That was a real bad game.
Yeah.
So if you value your craft as a professional, I would think you would come out in week 1 on fire.
I think New England is going to be in trouble in this game, and I'm not just hanging that on the Garoppolo. I think New England, I thought they should have did better at the running back position, although LeGarrette Blount is okay at 700 yards rushing from last year, 6 touchdowns.
Lewis back
but he's more of a complimentary back. Deion Lewis is back, and I do like the other guy that they got, the other little running back they got. But I think those guys, they run like the Saints run. They got running back by committee. So he mixes those backs up pretty well. Gronkowski, I don't know.
Gronk is not playing.
Gronk did say that he didn't know he wasn't had on, so I don't think Gronk is going to be playing. So that's a major part of the offense is going right there.
So you got to throw to?
Well, he's going to probably end up throwing to Dammy Amendola, Julian Edelman if they healthy, whoever. But my take on it is I just think that looking at it, there's too many minuses and not enough pluses. Yeah. Minus Tom Brady and minus Gronk is enough to get you a minus loss. So
they got a guy on the other side of the field that they traded who's going to really be looking to make an imprint on a stacked defense. Yeah. All he got to do is rush the passer.
Yeah, you're talking about Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones.
Yeah, Chandler Jones. That was a real. Well, they needed help on the offensive line. They did get a good offensive lineman in Cooper. But to give up a pass rusher like him, which shows you that they can stack, and this system is just like plug and play with New England.
System they run. Belichick is a defensive genius, man. I give him that because I've seen very serviceable players.
He said, "Okay, well,
look good over there."
He said, "Okay, it's no problem, man. I'll trade Chandler Jones and get me a lineman and Jonathan Cooper. And guess what I'll do? I'll make a trade and get Barkevius Mingo and replace use Barkevius Mingo to replace Chandler Jones. And
he's definitely a talented guy.
And he'll get the same production in New England watch.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that New England is going to be worth anything until after Tom Brady comes back. So hopefully, Jimmy G can be able to get at least go 2-2.
I hope not. I'm tired of seeing the Patriots in the playoffs. Well, they need to take a break.
You take 2-2, and I think they probably be okay. But Arizona and New England, I got Arizona over them. You got Arizona, and the final game is Pittsburgh and Washington. Who do you have?
I'm going with the Steelers, man. After watching how they just French toast us down here in the Bayou, I cannot pick against the Steelers, man. Their offense was in sync. They was clicking. In their final dress rehearsal for the regular season, I don't see any rust from Le'Veon Bell.
You do know this game is in Washington now.
I don't care.
Okay.
Come on, man. You've been seeing on my picks. I know you're going to pick all the home teams. I've been picking all away teams, dude. But
so you're going to make a change on this one, then?
No, I'm not changing on that one. I'm going with the Steelers, man. I'm not sold on Kirk Cousins. I think he's a good quarterback. I'm just not sold on him just taking it to the next level. And the Steelers, I think, a team to be reckoned with, man.
Okay, so I got the Steelers too. I think I like the Steelers going in there because defense and running game does travel. And they have both very well, D'Angelo Williams and also Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I think he's done with all this.
You got everybody healthy.
Wait, is he still suspended? I'm so used to him being suspended. He's good, right?
Yeah, he's good. So you got all these guys and then a healthy Big Ben Roethlisberger going down there into Washington.
Just imagine if they had Bryant too. Oh my God.
I just think this is going to be one of them games where Pittsburgh walks out of there with 10 points or a 10-point win.
Yeah, I don't even think it's going to be hard.
Right. Rams in the final game. Our picks is the Rams and the 49ers. Who do you have?
I'm going with Todd Gurley. That's pretty much all. They don't have anything else.
The LA Rams.
Todd Gurley and maybe a little bit of Tavon Austin.
I do like Tavon. I do like Todd Gurley.
I think
we talk a lot about the offensive pieces, but really the team is a defensive team.
I'm joking, but
right.
They have the best defensive line front four in the league.
And then losing Fairley, and we still say that.
Yeah.
Losing Laurinaitis.
They lost Fairley and got McDonald.
Yeah, and lost Laurinaitis, which was their top guy for several years.
Well, who's their middle linebacker now?
I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up, but I don't know who their middle linebacker is. But they still
Guess we're going to learn this week. Huh?
Yeah, we're going to definitely learn who he is. But I still have to give it to the Los Angeles Rams. They are not LA's club, and they got a lot to make a statement for the San Fran. And besides, the San Francisco 49ers is a team in disarray. not just because of what Cap
I
doing
actually
down
want
there.
Kaepernick to play good though.
I would think.
I hope Blaine Gabbert gets hurt, throws like 5 interceptions, and they just put Cap in.
No, well, I think the offensive system fits Blaine Gabbert's abilities.
You do?
I'm saying it fits. The system fits his abilities. Because remember, this ain't.
What does Blaine Gabbert do? Can you enlighten me on Blaine Gabbert's abilities? Because I haven't seen much.
He's a big quarterback. He got the ability to throw the ball to deep bomb. He's gotten better.
Who's gonna catch it?
Well, that's the question. That is the question indeed. Who's going to catch the ball? Because I can't call one wide receiver off their staff right now. Torrey Smith.
Torrey Smith. That's
Torrey Smith. They got another guy.
Okay, I put a safety over the top on Torrey Smith.
Torrey Smith can't be stopped by most safeties. But the way we're looking at it is there are other weapons that we're not aware of that I think San Fran has, but none of them mean anything because St. Louis is going to win this game. So that's it. What is your take, sir? What is your take?
Man, I already told you I picked the Rams, man. I don't see a snowball chance in hell for San Francisco to win. Not this game, but I think if they just man up and start Colin Kaepernick, I think they can build a lot of momentum.
Well, starting Colin Kaepernick.
You're paying him $15 million.
I think probably if that's a possibility if he stinks it up. I definitely would say that.
Blaine Gabbert is eventually going to stink it up. Maybe he comes out this game and looks pretty serviceable. But it's Blaine Gabbert, man. This guy was drafted number 2. And I haven't seen any flashes yet of a number 2 pick.
Well,
Colin Kaepernick at least showed me he had a couple of years. He strung together some pretty nice numbers, man.
Well, Todd McShay.
He had a way better team.
I remember what Todd McShay saying that when Gabbert came out, it was Cam Newton and it was Gabbert. I remember Todd McShay was sitting up there on ESPN talking about you can't go wrong with either one of these guys. And I said, how in the hell did this dude must be one of the fastest talking dudes in the organization. Because how the hell did he talk himself into keeping his job after making that statement?
I got 3 points. Because Cam did 3 things. Did Blaine Gabbert win a Triple H state championship?
Never did anything.
Nope. Did Blaine Gabbert win the Heisman?
No, not even close.
Did Blaine Gabbert win the championship in the NCAA?
Not even close. Blaine Gabbert was strictly a pick that those guys made because he was a guy with a big arm, and they figured that he could do what Cam Newton did. And I was like,
why do they think everybody who has a big arm? They always say he could be the next big Ben Roethlisberger. Like they just roll that on out there every time.
McShay, I remember McShay wasn't the only one. I'm not just gonna put it on Todd McShay, but I remember Mel Kiper too. They were both.
Mel Kiper does it all the time.
All the time they were plugging these quarterbacks. McGabbert, and I was looking at Gabbert.
They've been selling us on quarterbacks for like 15 years, man. They never pan out.
And I remember watching Gabbert play that year. I looked at his stats from that year, and I'm looking at him saying, Gabbert's got to have an agent that's paying these guys to say this. I'm like, he's got to be paying these guys to say this because there's no way in the world, based on what I seen from Blaine Gabbert, and to say that it's 1 and 2. You can't go wrong with Gabbert or him. Now the question is, if they had took Blaine Gabbert in Carolina, would he have done what Cam Newton do in Carolina?
Hell to the no.
It's just not capable.
And Jacksonville would probably be in the championship. Cam Newton has gotten to the championship of every level of his football career.
We gotta remember too now. It's kind of hard to say because Blaine Gabbert probably would have had more success than Cam Newton in Jacksonville because Jacksonville didn't have anything when Blaine Gabbert was down, to be honest with you. There was a team.
Well, you say Blaine Gabbert would have had more success than Cam Newton?
Because
do you not remember what the Panthers had when they got Cam? They had Steve Smith.
They had
now it's pretty much about it. They had to go get
They
Greg
had Steve
Olsen.
Smith. Didn't they have an old? No,
they had to go get Olsen.
They didn't have him, but they were still in better shape than what Jacksonville was.
Everybody was in a better shape than what Jacksonville.
But that's what I'm saying. The team. It's not just what it. Like we made this point.
But you got Cam Newton, and let's say they have him, and they win about 4 or 5 games the first year, right? We can't expect them to do that much. They still got these number 1 draft picks,
right? But I'm saying in terms of the organizations you're going to and who you at, Jacksonville was a team that was in disarray before this Amir Khan dude, or whatever his name is, took over the organization. He bought it, then they changed, and they changed the uniforms, they got better. No, because I'm saying that to say this, is that when they took Blaine Gabbert, if Cam Newton was still, if Jacksonville took Cam Newton, and they had nothing down there for Cam to play with, he would have got tore up down there. They ain't have no offensive line down there. He would have got killed, his confidence, and he already whined like a baby already on the sideline. So you can imagine him losing season after season after season in Jacksonville.
Of course, but there's one
he would have been disheartened.
There's one thing about Cam Newton that I'm not going to overlook, man. I've seen him rise. He rises to the occasion.
He put the towel over his head and acts like a baby.
I mean, that's the media's take on him, but all I've seen the guy do is all I've seen the guy do is make players around him better. You can look at a player that came from the 49ers, such as Ted Ginn. He bounced around everything, and he just could never pan out.
Is that really Cam Newton, or is that the system?
Both.
Because I believe
both.
Ted Ginn's problem was he was always talented.
Yes.
Ted Ginn's problem was San Francisco used Ted Ginn pretty well because Colin Kaepernick was throwing the deep bomb to him.
He plays good with mobile quarterbacks for some reason.
Well, I mean, because usually most of the time when the quarterback roll out the pocket, the play breaking down, the safety start paying attention to what's going on back there.
Just run past
right, he looking, then I just throw it over the top of you. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. I guess that's a topic that we'll have for another debate. But what I like about the fact you look at Ted Ginn Jr. is that he's a deep ball guy. Yeah. And then the problem, his stick on him early in the season, he dropped many of his passes.
Yeah, he did.
So he was a bigger name Devery Henderson in terms of what I was saying. He would drop a lot of balls that he was supposed to catch. But finally, at this stage of his career, he's starting to actually catch a few passes. But he ain't having no groundbreaking number. He had those
I think he was too fast for the football. He lost the step.
He was very fast.
Now he can catch it. He was just running too fast.
Ted Ginn Jr. was one of the fastest wide receivers we've seen in a long time. Yeah. He was a blazer. Like you look at a guy like Galloway. Remember him? Joey Galloway.
Oh, man. Joey Galloway he was like 40 years old, man. He was still fast.
Yes.
Like, wow.
Just made a pure speed. But anyway.
Darryl Green, too.
Darryl Green, he was a cornerback. Yeah, he did keep his speed well up into his 40s. That's just athletes and great training. All right, well, this is the end of the show, fellas.
Cam Newton would have still won them games with Jacksonville.
Well, coming up next week, LSU will be going against Mississippi State. We're going to be covering that game, making sure, see what's going on with that, with the quarterback change.
And I'm happy Prescott ain't playing.
We'll have enough news. We'll have news building up to the game. Tulane will be at Navy, and we'll see what that goes. Hopefully they can build on a success, get another win at home against Navy at 7 o'clock. That game will be on ESPN3. But that'll do it for the show. Thank you for listening to Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. For me, myself, and DC, we wish you a good night. Please tune into our next podcast. Check us out. Donate to our podcast. Help build our platform. And please, by all means, check out the Posh Lifestyle. Check their products out. Give them some play. Thank you for listening to us tonight, and have a blessed night.
Peace.